You lived in Springfield? Yeah, I worked at the Quickie Mart, researching a role. These guys are gonna lose.
Yay! An inflammatory video that can make or break my channel! I love these videos. And yes, inflammatory is a pun, because Hades. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about Family Guy. Or more specifically, James Woods. Both the character and the real guy. But mostly the character. Now, Family Guy is known for their various celebrity cameos. I mean, most adult cartoons that aren't South Park do it primarily as a ratings booster. But unlike most examples who just have them guest star in a bit part, Family Guy sometimes went a step further and made them full-fledged characters in their own right, where they would often play fictionalized versions of themselves. I mean, I think King of the Hill occasionally did the same thing, but excluding Chuck Mangione and that one episode where they all go to the music festival, and heck, even the Ann Richards episode, it just felt like they were trying way too hard to be topical, especially with the American Choppers.
I wanted to bring the NASCAR bike, but these chuckleheads didn't finish it.
Maybe I could have finished it if you would have stopped asking every 5 minutes.
Okay, numbnut. I'm starting to get aggravated here.
Wow, the one time Family Guy is superior to King of the Hill. The thing is, as is probably clear by now, James Woods is not a fictional person. Just putting it out there because my mom did not know who he was, especially when I told her that I was making this video. For those of you who don't know, James Woods is a highly prolific actor who also went to MIT. I think he was going to be an eye doctor or something. As a result of growing up in Rhode Island, he got the chance to guest star in Family Guy as a fictionalized version as himself. But just who is James Woods and why is he so controversial? Well, let's discuss. James Woods is a prolific actor known for being in various movies, such as, I think he produced Oppenheimer? Look, I was born in 99, okay? All I know is he was Hades and Hercules, and probably my favorite part of that movie. It's not that it's a bad movie, it's just that as a history nerd, I hate all of the artistic liberties. Even if Lisa Kudrow and Susan Egan were in the show, I think. And once again, they continue the trend of making Hades the devil when that was not the case in Greek mythology. He was just a guy people didn't like. He wasn't frickin' Satan. Hey, at least Hades from Hadestown saw the light, and the ending implied he might have become a better king. And the point is made that Hermes sometimes changes the story ever so slightly to try and close the loop and for the benefit of the audience. Sorry, I'm ranting. The point is, James Woods was one of the most important characters in Family Guy, but much like Schoolly Fancy Sin, he doesn't appear as often anymore. Why is that? We'll get there. But first off, how's about we take a look at the good old days for clues? In Peter's Guide Woods, Ryan goes to a PTA meeting at James Woods High and meets one of the history teachers, Shauna Parks.
Wow, that's a lovely color. Your dress is a color. Your dress is I like. You're very pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Brian, we get it. You have biases because of your father, Coco, and he deserved to be hit by that milk truck. Speaking of, why does this remind me of that one episode where Frasier gets a new assistant for a few days, and she was being super obnoxious, but he was too scared to tell her because she was black, and he was worried that he would sound like a bigot? Anyhow, Brian and Shauna hit it off. Well, Brian takes the path of PC principal and tries to prove harder and harder that he's an ally.
Oh, I love kids. Oh, I just love them. I can't get enough of those little buggers. Let me tell you, it's like I tell the other volunteers down at the adoption center.
I guess that explains Dylan. And yes, Brian, I took your advice. I went on the internet to complain because it's my job and I am doing the right thing. To impress Shauna, because Brian is the personification, or dogification, of white guilt. I mean, come on guys, he's a white lab. They prattle on and on until the topic switches to James Woods High, and the guy it's named after.
I've always wondered why they named it after James Woods, you know? I mean, there's got to be somebody more deserving. Like, just, you know, off the top of my head, I don't know, Sidney Poitier.
Wonder why. Still, I would not mind Sidney Poitier. He has the power to fight Barbara Streisand, and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was the inspiration for Shrek 2, which makes that movie funnier to watch. Not realizing why he's doing what he's doing, Shauna is taken by the idea. Furthermore, Shauna suggests they should rename the school after one of Brian's suggestions, MLK.
You like Dr. King? Because I love Dr. King. I love MLK. Man, he's my guy. I mean, I love all black people.
Oh my god, Brian, we get it. Shut up. You are disgusting, and you are part of the problem, and you know it. Look, if it's such a big deal, please just go read J.R.R. Tolkien. Because I know you're the type of person who calls a dude Token and not Tolkien. But when you read J.R.R. Tolkien, do it from the perspective of a black person. Please, just whatever you do, stop. Because of his new relationship, Brian can't spend as much time with Peter, and it's becoming noticeable.
Hey, what's that? What's that? Is that a dog? Is that another dog on the TV? Huh? You see that? Go get it! Go get it! Yeah, what's that? What's that?
Still, his campaign works, and the school board decides to put up a hearing about changing the school's name. Peter objects.
Oh, whoa, wait. You and your girlfriend are taking the name James Woods off the high school?
Well, yes, for Martin Luther King.
That's crazy.
Which I hate to say it, because I like being progressive, but I kind of agree with him. Kind of. Only because Brian's not doing this for the right reasons. He's not trying to honor a man who believed in peace above all else. He's just doing it to impress a girl and earn social brownie points.
Use your head.
Peter, you're acting like an idiot.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't like the way you've been acting lately. And I think it has a lot to do with that woman you've been spending so much time with.
Look, nowadays I can get them changing the name of the school. James Woods is highly controversial, but back then, James Woods was an actor who happened to be from Rhode Island, and nothing more. Just saying. Nobody was complaining about Buddy Chauncey Junior High or Pearl Bailey. So back then, I'm saying before we knew all this stuff, what was so bad about James Woods? The school board hears Brian's proposal, and they're about to change the school's name, when suddenly Peter walks in with something he thinks will change everybody's minds.
Now, unless there's any objection, I move that the board pass this measure.
I've got an objection, and so does this man. James Woods.
OMG, this calls for references. Because I don't think he got a song, I'm gonna use Hades Town. Mr. Hades is a mighty king. Kinda makes you wonder how he feels about the school changing their name. Well, James Woods says that.
Let me just say, I'm all in favor of renaming the school after Dr. King.
What?
Wow, a big star and yet so humble. James Woods High School, it remains.
Part of me wonders if he was being legitimately honest and the school board was just being stupid, or if he was using some good old-fashioned reverse psychology to get them to keep it. Considering how he acts later, I could see it being either or. Peter, happy his plan succeeded, decides to invite James Woods over for a meal.
Thank you so much for having me over.
Well, it's not often we get to meet celebrities.
Yeah, except for the Pope, or Bill Clinton, or Adam West, or your parents, or Gene Simmons, or Brian shows up angry at James Woods.
Oh, Brian, there you are. Look who's here for lunch.
Oh, hello, Mr. Woods. Peter tells me you're in films.
Hey, little songbird. Look, I know Brian is upset, it's just his anger is directed at the wrong person. This is not James Woods' fault, it's Peter's. Even James Woods said he had no problem. Good thing this leads to an argument between Peter and Brian, not Brian and James Woods.
At least I wasn't trying to change the name of the school to impress my girlfriend.
Now, that is not true.
Oh, yeah? Well, then why'd you pick Martin Luther King, eh? Why not Ronald Reagan?
Once again, one time I agreed with Peter. Actually, speaking of, I wonder what other names they could have gone with. I was gonna say Viola Davis, because she's from Rhode Island and she's a pretty important actress. But she wasn't as well known back then. So I did some research, and I think instead of MLK, it should have been, I'm gonna try to pronounce his name as best as I can, Cicieretta Jones. For those of you who don't know, she was called the Black Patty and a world-renowned singer. She performed for 4 presidents and the royal family. During her heyday, she was the highest paid African-American performer. Like, back then, that was a big deal. Why should they have included her? Okay, first off, again, she's African-American, meaning she meets Brian and Shauna's minimum criteria. Second, she's a woman, and a woman who's sadly nearly lost to history. Until I made this video, I had no clue she even existed, and many other people have forgotten her despite her legacy. I mean, when she died in poverty, and she was so poor she did not have enough money to afford a gravestone. It wasn't until 2018 that the funds were raised to give her one. Naming a school after her would be a really great way to honor her and keep her from remaining obscure. Regardless, you want to know what's better than all of this? She was from Rhode Island. I know, it's cool. True, kind of like James Woods, she wasn't born there, but she did spend a great portion of her life living there. To me, she's the perfect candidate, and she would make everybody happy. Boom chakalaka, Brian, I showed you. Oh yeah, I suppose Family Guy is a comedy, and this tangent went on a little too long. Maybe you could rename the school after Adam West. Take your pick. Peter suggests that James Woods can do more than just eat with him. He could be his buddy. James Woods agrees. I gotta admit, despite what comes later, I kinda like the little friendship they have.
Ooh, that's a scary story, Peter. It's almost as scary as...
Boo!
But we both know one day there'll be blood on the floor, but which one will betray the other more? In the movies, Shauna is disappointed that Brian is still speaking to Peter.
You're not still friends with that idiot after what he did.
Well, I mean, that may be a little harsh.
Because they live together, what are they supposed to do? And she provides Brian with an ultimatum.
And as far as I'm concerned, it's either him or me.
Shauna, come on. Why you want to play a brother like that?
I think I have my answer.
Damn, good for you, girl. He sucks. Trust me, you dodged a bullet. Brian goes to apologize when he walks in on James Woods, who has done something so horrific, more horrific than tricking a hungry girl into working as one of his slaves on a giant wall. He took Brian's spot.
Tried to tell you.
This is my spot now, Brian.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I mean, why take the couch or go to Stewie's room? I mean, the house is super huge. James Woods becomes the new Brian, doing everything Brian used to, like catch a frisbee.
Ready? Now catch it in your mouth like Brian. James, you gotta bite down.
Too bad a friendship with a B-list celebrity, I'm guessing B-list, more like C+, is starting to suck peanut butter.
You really care about a man who used to try and pick up girls at the Miss USA pageant?
Wait a second, James Woods did that?
Hey, I'm Peter. What do you say you and me go get a couple beers, yeah? Maybe we could... Oh, fine. You know what? You got mosquito bite boobs anyway. I don't care. I don't need you.
Oh, that makes more sense. Eventually, Brian and Peter make up at the bar, and they have a good laugh, just like old times. Well, just a bit of a problem. Turns out James Woods is super uber possessive, and he reacts at the first sign of abandonment like a deranged housewife. Like one of those housewives who knows that their husband has like 4 other families.
What are you doing here? What's going on?
Hello, Peter. Would you like some cold roast beef?
What do you mean?
Peter, everything he does for the love of you. If you don't even want his love, he'll give you cold roast beef.
Fun. That sounds like you had a fun time. And where would I fit in with the fun time, huh? Where does James Woods fit into the fun?
I mean, no offense, James, couldn't he microwave it? That makes it taste better. Too bad James Woods does not want to leave, meaning they now need to make up a crazy plan to get him off their backs. Ooh, Peter could sing a song.
We gotta come up with some crazy scheme like the kids on that 70s show.
Peter, please don't. If you have to, just do me one favor. Don't involve Meg in the planning, please. Instead, they follow a totally different plan. One of the most infamous.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Me and my friends used to say this all the time as a joke. James Woods is apprehended, and they deal with him by keeping him trapped in a crate, like in Game of Thrones. Great episode. Now, what if I told you that James Woods actually stuck around for a few more episodes? Like once a season. And in a way, you can say he's a recipient? One of those two? Of the Elijah Michelson treatment. Wow, it's been a while since I threw that term out. You know, when a character is meant to be one-off or minor, yet the crew loves them so much that they greatly expand their presence. Unlike Bill Clinton, well, Family Guy's version of Bill Clinton, I think this was for the better. Kinda like Adam West, they made him a character in spite of his acting career. You don't need to know he exists for it to be funny, although that does add a little layer of comedy. Trust me, I had to Google what movies he was in just to get a sense of what he did outside of being in a Disney movie. Then came back to the woods where James Woods decides to get revenge on Peter and Brian for betraying him. But not yet, because Family Guy is awful when it comes to pacing episodes, like as bad as The Simpsons. The episode starts with Peter and the guys going to a Barry Manilow concert, which I can't talk about because although I don't know who this guy is, even if he gives me a Frankie Valli vibe, I know he's probably copyrighted. The next day, Peter discovers that he dropped his wallet while at the concert, and this leads to a lot of problems because he can't do his normal activities. And being Peter, he's too lazy to just go get a new everything.
Dropped it at the what and where was I?
Peter, you and your excuses for losing your wallet. I dropped it at the concert. The hooker took it. It's with my other family.
Nowadays, I feel like we're spoiled with AirTags. Brian learns that somebody is illegally stealing Peter's credit card, and they have implicated themselves by eating at the house of Chung every damn day.
A big screen TV, a massage chair from Sharper Image, plane tickets. Peter, someone has obviously stolen your credit card.
Instead of just asking the credit card company to put a freeze on the card, they go to the restaurant to confront the perp.
Wait, look at this. He eats at House of Chung every day.
House of Chung, eh? Come on, let's go, Brian.
Which, I get, even if you don't catch the guy, you could still eat something. There, they discover the culprit.
What did you ever do to me, What did you ever do to James Woods?
Well, I locked you in a wooden crate and forgot to put an air hole in it.
Forgot to put an air hole in it.
Well, you kind of had it coming.
Still, why would a major celebrity like James Woods do all of this? Bankrupting Peter should be enough. Just saying, you know Peter probably won't dispute any of those charges. He's too stupid and too lazy. Afterwards, they get home and discover that much like oxygen, he's everywhere.
You'll never guess who it was.
James Woods?
Hello, stranger. I don't recall inviting you into my home.
Turns out James Woods' revenge scheme isn't complete because he wants to completely take over Peter's life, and then some. Also, he called the cops.
Hello, officer. Would you be kind enough to remove this trespasser from my home? This house belongs to Peter Griffin, and that's me.
Driver's license, social security card, passport, title to the house.
Joe, I thought better of you. You know who Peter is, and I'm sure that ID has a picture. How are you fooled by any of this? No offense, I know this was probably added so we couldn't complain. Oh well, why can't Peter just end the episode by calling the cops on James Woods? And I do love Joe, but this was not a good time for him. Oh, and to add insult to injury, Peter has to strip down all the way to his poop sack.
Right down to the poop sack. What? You don't all wear a poop sack? Damn it, Bonnie! You lied to me about the poop sack!
Don't take it literally, Joe. Bonnie is possessed by the spirit of a deranged serial killer who chops off people's arms and legs. But Peter has to give James Woods his clothes. That way, James Woods has something to wear.
Hey, not so fast, pal. Those are my clothes.
Oh, come on.
You heard him, fella. Take him off.
Oh no, Peter is kicked out of his own house He should have carped way more DMs. Now he's never gonna see him. Speaking of, I'm surprised those clothes fit him that well. I don't know, for some reason, I feel like they would be a tad big on him. Like when you're a little kid and you try on your mom's high heels. Unless maybe he's that petty that he had his own Peter clothes custom made, and then he just made him take off his clothes for the lulz. If so, I understand. And luckily, because Brian helped to trap him that other time, James Woods puts him outside.
You won't get away with this, Woods.
You know, you're not supposed to be in the house, Brian. You're more of an outdoor dog.
What the hell does that mean? This is so humiliating.
Peter tries to talk to Brian until James Woods shows up, lacking sunglasses, and does the most awful thing this whole episode, nearly steals Peter's cutaway.
Well, well, a trespasser on my property. That's the worst thing that's happened to me since...
You wouldn't.
Either you leave now, or I set up one of your random flashbacks.
These are working people, son. Law-abiding citizens, go back the way you came from. You're on the wrong side of the fence. Despite being a hostile weirdo, James Woods is pretty affectionate with the kids. Which I suppose makes sense. His beef is more with Peter and Brian than the other Griffins. They just happen to be casualties in all this. He teaches Meg how to look thin while also pigging out.
Whoa! When did Reese Witherspoon get here?
And he lets Chris come to him with girl advice.
Mr. Woods, how do I get a girl to like me?
Oh, Chris, I'm your father. Call me Dad.
Tell them that James Woods is your father, idiot. How are they ever gonna know? I don't really think he does anything with Stewie, though. Because of James Woods, Brian and Peter end up at a crappy hotel on the edge of town. And Peter is there wondering, probably in song, is anybody listening? I open my mouth, go to my house, and James Woods kicks me out. They can't see the family because James Woods has eyes like an earthworm. Peter attempts to go in disguise as a dude named Scooter, and Scooter doesn't work because who the F names their kid Scooter? That name is so stupid, unless you're this Scooter. However, Brian realizes there's a good part to Peter's situation. Just as James Woods pretended to be him, he can pretend to be James Woods.
If he's Peter Griffin, then that means you can be James Woods.
That's a great idea, Brian. If I was a famous movie star, I wouldn't even want my family.
No.
Do it, Peter. You'll get a lady of the underground, and better yet, you can say whatever you want on Twitter. Peter gets a fake ID from Stewie and goes on Letterman, besmirching James Woods' name before it got besmirched.
Well, Dave, I have a hilarious new movie coming out on HBO next month. It's all about 9/11.
James, that sounds unbelievably offensive to Americans.
Yeah, you gotta wait 22 years, dummy.
I play a window washer who has just finished washing the last window at a World Trade Center. And then I turn around to get off the scaffold. And what do you think I see coming?
Even if, admittedly, I feel like that whole movie idea would be a really good twist ending. Also, didn't James Woods report some of the guys from 9/11 or something? Was that a reference?
And the voice of the plane is David Spade.
What? I would never work with David Spade, that dwarf, that skinny chicken.
Hey, David Spade was in Beavis and Butthead, you meanie. Watch your mouth. Peter's efforts work, and James Woods is a pariah, like 10 years too early. James Woods decides they must settle their beef once and for all.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Okay, Brian, next time let's remember this right away because he's done this twice.
Still, while James Woods did not appear as often, I guess because the real James Woods was busy, he did still make the occasional appearance in the later seasons. For example, we got Brian Griffin's House of Pain. The Griffins discover Brian's lost script, what I learned on Jefferson Street, about a single father named Byron trying to take care of his 4-year-old daughter, on top of also going back to college. They encourage Brian to pitch it to CBS, not Fox, and the executives decide to accept. The thing is, they do what all executives do, where they ruin a good show because they are out-of-touch weirdos who want tax write-offs and hate animation and anything with potential. First off, they change it behind Brian's back to go from a drama to a comedy.
This isn't a sitcom, it's a drama.
Well, we thought it would be a lot funnier if it was a sitcom.
It's not supposed to be funny.
Simply because somebody suggested James Woods, not Elijah Wood like Brian wanted. I guess because their names are similar.
Okay, so who?
Hey, what's up, eggs? I'm here to audition for this stupid pilot.
Now, outside of the subplot, this episode is alright, mostly passable. It just feels like the problem is Brian and James Woods never actually interact that meaningfully. At one point, Brian does bring up their history.
I don't want this guy anywhere near this show. He's been harassing my family for years. He stalked my best friend and then he stole his identity.
But instead of James Woods being like, come on buddy, I changed, or something like that, nobody cares and thinks that he's just pitching an episode.
Oh my god, that's an episode!
Wait, I lie. There was this one moment.
What do you think, Brian? I mean, what do you think of the tatas? I mean, can we do better? I think we could do better, right?
Who is this? Where'd you get this girl?
Oh, by the way, I need a chimp sidekick.
I feel like the idea of Brian and James Woods working on a show had a lot of potential. It would have been cool if James Woods took over, not the executives. Or he could be the showrunner because Brian is a writer, but he has no experience working on a show. Kind of like Final Space. Perhaps somebody read Brian's script, or because of the Elijah Wood joke, it somehow makes its way to James Woods. James Woods either being mean on purpose or trying to bury the hatchet and doing it poorly produces the pilot. The problem is James Woods ruins things, and essentially Brian's career. Perhaps because he thinks he's helping, or he thinks that's how things are done, or something else altogether. Just saying, he almost got his revenge on Peter, why not Brian? You could still have Brian have a debate between selling out or sticking to his principles. It just feels like they wasted James Woods immensely. Heck, maybe the sitcom idea could have worked. Make it a comedy drama like How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, Hillary, you know the bet. You have to sleep with the next guy that walks through that door. Got it. Dad?
Also, fun fact, the girl who stars in Class Holes is voiced by Danielle Panabaker. I think that's how you say it? Apparently, Danielle and James Woods both starred in this one show called Shark, and Danielle played his daughter.
Who's he?
James Woods.
Oh, I thought he was a shark.
No, he was on a show called Shark.
Too bad it got canceled after 2 seasons. But I gotta warn ya, James Woods eventually pays for his behavior, presenting, and then there were fewer, which you probably already know about because for some reason Freeform plays it constantly. One day, out of the blue, Peter receives an offer for him and his family to attend a dinner party from somebody anonymous.
Well, you're not gonna go, are you? It's clearly some kind of scam.
Oh, well then maybe we just go and you go to the kennel.
Oh, not the kennel. Last time you left me there for an hour. Or 10 years. I don't know. There's no clock there.
It will be held at the Rocky Point Manor, which is apparently a real spot, albeit in Kentucky and not Rhode Island. Today, once again, we remember how Kentucky is a state, but not wanting to reject the offer of free food, I don't blame them, they go. They get there and find that practically everybody in Quahog is there. Pretty much all of the side characters who are on the marquee at the end of the title sequence, plus Stephanie.
See anyone I knew here? This is Stephanie.
Hi, everybody! Oh my gosh, I never thought I'd meet Glenn's friends!
Sorry, she's like Zoidberg. Consuela takes them to their rooms without ever actually saying who invited them. Who was it?
Good evening, everyone.
James Woods?
Thank you for joining me at my humble manor.
Makes sense. He's the only one who could afford to do all this, except for Carter and Babs, but empathy is like poison to Carter, and Seth MacFarlane is voicing multiple characters this time around. You gotta give his throat a break. As it turns out, James Woods found religion, supposedly, thanks to the love of his new girlfriend, Priscilla.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I have wronged each and every one of you in some way. And since I'm a man of God now, I am truly repentant.
To be a good born-again Christian, he has invited all of the people he's wronged to a dinner to make amends. Before dinner, James Woods and Priscilla leave the room, while Stephanie sits at the head of the table.
I'm very intuitive with these things. Maybe if I sit in his chair, I can get a reading on his energy.
Ugh, super rude. That's for the host.
Did the cork hit me?
And that's why you need to have manners. The townsfolk think, and with good reason, that James Woods set up this whole dinner in order to kill all of them. They try to escape, but find that because of the weather, they're stuck at the mansion with a murderer.
Oh, really, Lois? I thought I might drive forward. I thought that might be a fun thing to do.
James Woods claims he didn't do it because he's a Christian and he's turned over a new leaf. As we all know, to most Christians, murder equals bad. And also because he was in the bathroom.
All right, I don't know what's happening here, but look, I'm a lot of things. Someone who, would have broken up bigger if he weren't so impossible to work with. Right, but a murderer. I only just found God. Why would I jeopardize my entrance into heaven?
Shortly afterwards, the power goes out, and James Woods is killed himself.
James Woods murdered Stephanie, and then he murdered himself. Crisscross.
Oh, Peter, don't you see? He didn't kill himself, and he didn't kill Stephanie.
Also, Priscilla dies too down the line. Who cares? Who murdered them? Diane Simmons.
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God, it was you! You're the killer!
Very clever, Lois. You shouldn't have stopped to say hi to me. You would have lived longer.
Apparently, Diane dated James Woods until her 40th birthday caused him to break up with her. Around the same time, Tom Tucker wanted to have her fired, trying to kill two birds with one stone, not literally, kind of. She convinced the intern, Priscilla, to date James Woods and get him to turn to Christianity. That way, he would host this whole shindig, sit in the wrong spot, die, and then Diane could place the murder weapon in Tom's bag and implicate him.
Plan to kill James Woods and frame Tom Tucker, thereby destroying the two people who cast me aside and ruined my life.
You're 40?
Yes. I'm 40.
Then stuff happens, a bunch of people find out, so Diane has to kill them, yada yada yada, and Diane herself is killed. Strangely enough, James still appears after this. I know it's worth a thing, but he actually makes one more appearance, like major appearance, true appearance. To be fair, he is in the episode Inside Family Guy, but I don't count it. I hate when they do these types of meta episodes. Why should I care about the characters if the show fully admits, oh yeah, they're not real, they're just actors in a show? It's stupid. Instead, I'm going to talk to you about Tom Tucker, the man and his dream. The family watches the news, and this time around, there's a Make-A-Wish kid in the studio, much to Tom Tucker's dismay.
And the reason I'm wearing this mask is because we've got a Make-A-Wish kid in the studio tonight, who, as you'll find out as the show goes on, is quite a cougher.
Why does this episode feel weird to watch nowadays? During the segment, Joyce Kenny reveals that Tom Tucker wasn't always a newscaster. He used to have a past career as an actor named George P. Wilbur. You know, Michael Myers in Halloween 4. And somehow Peter never made the connection until he rewatched the scene.
Good evening, I'm Michael Myers. I have enormous psychological problems, and I'm going to take them out on you.
It is him.
Yeah, maybe this is why I never saw that movie. Well, that or I never actually watched any of the Halloween movies. Enchanted, Peter goes to Tom Tucker to have him sign his DVD. And in the process, he gets curious why Tom Tucker moved back to Quahog.
Well, I tried to make a career out there in Hollywood, but you see, life after Halloween 4 wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Once I stepped out from behind that mask, Hollywood gave me the cold shoulder.
What about voice acting? Unfortunately, Tom Tucker could not make a career out of acting, and wound up working at the news, which is totally way worse. It's not like he's a local celebrity or anything. Wanting Tom to spread his wings and fly, Peter offers to help, even possibly being his agent. But Tom can't be an actor. One, it probably isn't allowed because journalists are meant to be impartial, or at least have integrity. And second, he has a massive audience of 800 people.
You don't belong here. You're better than this.
In a few minutes, I've got to be on camera in front of 800 people.
800 people? Wow, Quahog's frickin' small. Still, the newest news segment convinces Tom that the news isn't where it's at. It's boring. Even if I did kind of like this one segment.
As I understand it, they would put the coal inside of that and then put the object between the sheets. It was very cold back then.
Come on, warming pans are so cool. They provided us with Bonnie Prince Charlie. Realizing he's wasting his life, Tom takes up Peter's offer, and they go to Hollywood.
Well, aren't you the Peter Griffin of Peter Griffin Cadillac?
No, that's another guy.
Hi, I'm Peter Griffin.
Honestly, this would be a great episode. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. And before you say anything, James Woods appears. I promise. I told you Family Guy has a problem with pacing. They make it to Los Angeles, where they get ready to find work. Too bad one of these two people we're talking about is Peter, and Peter can't find work for Tom.
Maybe this was all a mistake.
I mean, he slept with Diane Simmons.
No, but I can help you. You need to hire this man.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have any experience handling bags?
Actually, Peter might be onto something. If you're breaking into the industry or trying to, it's pretty realistic to expect you won't be handed a job right away. Regardless of what industry you're trying to break into, especially the entertainment industry, you're still going to need a place to stay and food to eat. Maybe it's good he tried to find a job that, while it might not pay as much, has enough flexibility for him that if he has to drop everything, he can still pursue other projects. Or maybe he should have been sure he had money saved up from working on the news. That way, if he can't find any kind of work, he has something to live off of. Either or is fine. Later, Peter goes to a popular Hollywood restaurant, intending to network, but it's expensive because Hollywood.
Then we best load our pockets with bread and get the hell out of here.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice your glasses, your poor table manners, and your huge sense of entitlement. I'm the casting director for NCIS.
As a result, Tom Tucker is able to get a bit part on NCIS, and Peter hands out his business cards.
Call me! 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 Ah, show business.
Is it true the Hollywood sign is actually one of those tourist traps that kind of sucks? Like Mount Rushmore or the lie that is Salem, Massachusetts? I have questions. Soon enough, Tom's part airs, and I can kind of get why Tom could only get steady work as a newscaster.
Good evening, I'm Ed Manzelli. What can I do for you? That's the end of my line. Your line, NCIS.
Okay, I think I know what the problem is. Tom's terrible as an actor because he doesn't know how to properly emote or insert himself into the roles. Trust me, it takes a lot of practice. Like, I used to sound like I was reading off of a script, but it can be done. What's worse is, he's doing this for a bit part. Those roles where you have even less freedom than one of the main actors. That's why I feel like it would have been better if, instead of doing normal acting, he could have done voice work. He's got a pretty good voice, and if he could pursue that, he could make the point that it's even harder than normal acting, because you can only rely on one part of your body. And it's pretty easy to get tired really quick. Still, everybody is happy that Tom got a role. Around the same time, Peter hears that somebody has shown up to his base and wants Peter to be their agent.
Send him in!
Hey, Knucklebutts!
James Woods!
OMG, he's alive.
God? God, are you there?
Peter, don't upset God or he's gonna curse you for 40 years with menstruation, just as he did to Margaret. She would not stop whining, so now she's gonna painfully bleed until she turns 50. After And Then There Were Fewer, the crew mentioned that all of the deaths in that episode were permanent. As a result, nobody would be coming back, which I guess I understand, except for Diane, who probably was the result of being written into a corner, or maybe they had no more use for her character. Everybody who died was either characters who did not contribute to anything anymore, were only made for that one episode, or they were not relevant for the longest time. Why does only James Woods come back? Well, they explain it. James Woods says that as a celebrity, he's entitled to top-notch healthcare.
That's James Woods. We got a celebrity here. I repeat, this is not a normal dead person.
My body was immediately taken to a Hollywood hospital, where I was hooked up to a 17-year-old ingenue.
Why do I have the feeling that South Park celebrities have something similar, except for Britney Spears? Or they just all are part of the cult of Cthulhu?
And in accordance with Hollywood law, her life force was infused into me, bringing me back from the dead.
Speaking of, I wonder what happened to that girl, that poor girl, and how she got inducted into this.
Stop making Jack Nicholson a pansy!
You're thinking of Nancy Myers!
You're the same thing!
Ouch. Peter is curious why James Woods wants him to be his agent, as am I.
You put me and my family through a lot of crap over the years. Why would I want to help you?
Well, because you're my agent.
Oh my God, you're right! I am!
Granted, we all know Peter isn't the best judge of character or user of critical thinking skills. Still, he ends up getting James Woods a bunch of roles, while leaving Tom Tucker in the sun like an old grape.
Hi, Peter. It's Tom. Just trying to reach you again. And, you know, about that meeting you set up with me and Heath Ledger, he never showed.
Which sucks because agents don't work for one person. He could be making more money and helping both of them. Just saying. Eventually, Peter drops Tom Tucker as a client.
Peter, I left a very good job for this. You're the only reason I came back out here.
I wish I could help you, Tom, but this is coming from upstairs.
The karate studio?
Too bad James Woods, as we all know, is a crazy weirdo with no sense of boundaries. He forces Peter to let him use his apartment for flings. Gross flings.
Great. So clear out of your apartment. We're going to be there in 15.
What? I'm sleeping. Why can't you bring it to your place?
I don't know, man. It's my aunt's daughter. It's weird.
And when he gets tired of him, admittedly he does explain it's a good reason this time around, James Woods pays him back in kind and fires him.
Peter, you've pitched me dozens of projects, and all of them involve me playing a hayride driver.
I don't know, I just see you doing that. You know, this year it's vampires, next year it's hay.
Before Tom leaves, Peter goes to apologize, and likely return home as well, because there's nothing left there for him. And that's it for James Woods' appearances. Kind of. Now you might be asking, whatever happened to James Woods? Why doesn't he appear anymore? Well, I think we need to talk about current events. Not normal sick current events, but different current events. Let's just say there are no good Jimmys left on the East Coast. Jimmy Fallon has a bunch of allegations, and let's just say James Woods kind of became one of those grandpas with a lot of opinions, who realizes that Twitter is a thing and you can post whatever you want on there. Because unlike Reddit, they don't have as many rules. He became a Trump supporter and a political conspiracist who writes inflammatory things on Twitter and often espouses misinformation. Plus, he says horrible things about LGBT people and he gets into feuds with lots of other people. To put it one way, one of the only good things he ever did on Twitter was use his account to help reunite pets with their owners in 2018 during the California wildfires. Even Alyssa Milano and Holly Marie Combs thanked him for his efforts. Unfortunately, he got to be so obnoxious that his own agent dropped him and basically forced him into retirement. On top of that, he's lost his Twitter account multiple times. Now personally, it might sound weird saying this, I don't think this would have been enough to get him kicked off the show. If anything, it would just give them more ammo. Just saying, Rush Limbaugh got an episode where he was basically a hero simply because he and Seth MacFarlane, in spite of their political opinions, were close friends. And think of all the controversies that Rush himself got into. What I found interesting is apparently James Woods is also one of those actors that's hard to work with, and not just because of his political opinion. Basically, he's the kind of person to complain that when he gets fired or dropped, it's because of the politics. Which, yeah, I'm sure that plays a role, but that doesn't make up for getting Me Too'd. Wait, what? Okay, one Google search later, and apparently a few girls have accused him of preying on them when they were underage. Especially Amber Tamblyn. They met when she was 16, and when she told him about her age, he said, "Even better. We'll have so much fun, I promise." Plus, it kind of makes certain jokes in the previous episodes seem a little heebie-jeebie-ish.
Do you guys have a studio lawyer or something? Because I banged that chick, and I think she is well under 18 years old.
Perhaps on top of everything, including what he said on Twitter, how he's acted around people, etc., it was harder to justify working with him. Not only would it ruin the show's reputation, nobody probably wanted him around anymore. Rumor has it that apparently the real James Woods was offered the chance to come back in recent years, and he refused because the episodes pitched to him made fun of conservatives. Which once again makes me respect Rush Limbaugh a little bit more. I might not agree with him politically, or at all really, but the episode made fun of everybody, and it was clear he was having a good time. As a result, the show staff saw fit to rename James Woods High. And they had the perfect excuse. Bittersweet, tragic excuse. Now the school is Adam West High. In the episode of the same name, they start off with a super unfunny joke.
That's Carol, Rosa's sister who was married to Mayor West, but now he's dead.
Woo! I love you, Carol!
Not that it brings down the tone or anything, it's just really obnoxious at a time like this. Carol is having dinner with the Griffins and still grieving Adam.
I've been having such a hard time since Adam passed away.
Which in a way is kind of sad, but also great. All of her previous husbands left her or divorced her. Adam was the only one who left because of something he couldn't control. Natural causes. Did they ever say why in universe? Carol wants to honor Adam, and Brian suggests they could rename the high school after him.
You know what we should do? We should rename the high school for Mayor West.
Oh, why not James Woods?
James Woods is an embarrassment to Quahog. He's a political troll and a maniac on Twitter.
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, okay then. Unlike last time, Brian goes straight to Principal Shepard, and Principal Shepard agrees.
You'd like to rename the school?
Yes, to Adam West High.
Well, you're a talking dog. You probably know what you're doing.
I guess he learned his lesson. Good for him. One ceremony later, and the school is renamed. Wait, that's it? Okay, apparently this whole episode isn't about honoring Adam or Brian, like campaigning on behalf of this. It's about Quagmire and Brian trying to run against each other for mayor. The episode should have been about the campaign. Still, this video is about James Woods. I guess I will hold my Adam West comments for another video. You know, I kind of wonder how things were gonna go if James agreed to come back this episode. Would he be cool with the change, or this time would he fight tooth and nail to keep it the way it was? Anyhow, now that we're done, I gotta say, I can't believe how little James Woods actually appears. I thought he was an integral part to the show, when really he's only in like 4 or 5 episodes. Memorable episodes, yes, but really not that much. I guess it sucks the real James Woods ended up being such a controversial fellow, because I would have loved it if he came back at least one more time. For what it's worth, I do like what we got. And hey, you all know my opinion about Justin Roiland. If you can separate the art from the artist, I know it's hard, more power to you. If not, then hey, at least you can appreciate the memories that you've made from the show. Anyhow, bye.
By the way, what'd you end up doing with James Woods?
Don't worry, Brian. He's being examined by top men.
Who?
Top men.